Welcome back to another edition of Leading Radio. I'm your host, Dave Duenez, with my other co-host, like always, Mr. Gabriel Montoya. Man, we have a lot of stuff to talk about here on Leading the Ring. A lot of news have came up this week from Manny Pacquiao, from a couple of weeks ago, Antonio Tarver, just this week as well, around a Rouser talking about suicidal thoughts. Then you had the announcement of the heavyweights. You had Anthony Joshua saying that he's going to challenge Charles Martin. So a lot of things here to talk about. Lomachenko and Walters, that's another great fight to talk about. So, I gotta catch up. Yeah, this gloomy weather has kind of brought me down. I don't know if you guys notice, I'm kind of off right now, so I got to play catch up with everybody. It is, man. Yeah. It is. It's ugly. You know, it's just been real cloudy and this overcast. I'm pretty sure it's really cloudy with Manny Pacquiao right now. What's going on with him being dropped by Nike, right? I mean, that's crazy. If anybody's parade's been rained on, it's Manny Pacquiao. First thing in the morning, you know, getting the announcements. You just lost one of your biggest sponsorships endorsements is Nike shoes. That's crazy. Let's kind of go back with that. Let's talk about a little bit what Manny Pacquiao, Gabriel, stated about the opposite sex having marriage. You know, I mean, he's a heavy believer, religious guy. I think he's a Catholic, and he decided to put his 2 cents about something that it's a touchy subject. It's almost like talking about racism. It's a really touchy subject. Something that you should not really, if you're going to be a public figure or a politician, you kind of tend to stay away from stuff like that unless you're Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, it also depends on your landscape. I mean, I live in San Francisco. I also work in theater. I have most of my life, at least half of my life. So I come in contact with lesbians, gays, trans, you name it. You know, I live kind of near the Castro district, which is kind of ground zero for the gay community here in San Francisco and in some ways, you know, in the United States.
And if
you don't have an open mind, you're going to get real upset real fast passing through the Castro district. But, you know, it's a thing where, I mean, Manny brought up the Bible. He also brought up nature. You know, just saying that animals aren't gay, essentially. You don't see male on male and female on female, which he's actually wrong. There are many examples of gay sex with animals. Bonobo monkeys being the freakiest or among the freakiest in the animal kingdom, getting it on this giant monkey orgies. I'm not kidding. YouTube it. Or don't if you don't want to.
I need a dog.
That sounds like a German porn site.
So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty terrible. But, I mean, you know, I'm not here to pass judgment on Manny, but he is a public figure. He's a politician. And he's speaking in the United States at a time, 2016, the last few years, where we've seen kind of the minds and hearts open of people, not just quote-unquote bleeding heart liberals, but everyone. The gay marriage has been on the table. You got some people living in, you know, the dark ages that don't want it to happen. But then you have some people that understand that you should also keep your religious beliefs out of politics. I think Manny got what was coming to him. He should have thought about what he said. He had backlash over this before. I don't know why he went back to this well. You know, so I don't want to dominate the conversation. What do you think, Antonia?
Yeah, for this situation, it is extremely sensitive and controversial. For the sake of the argument and for what is going on, I think it would be important to just go over exactly what the quote was for the listeners here and what Manny Pacquiao fully said, because some websites are misconstruing what he said. So for the sake of the argument, he said, it's common sense. Do you see animals that go male to male or female to female? So animals are even better because they know how to distinguish from male to male or female to female, right? Now, if we allow male to male or female to female, then that makes us worse than animals. That's the exact quote that Pacquiao gave. Now, when we look at this situation, you got to understand the type of views that not just Pacquiao has, but the Philippines have. The Philippines is a huge denomination of Catholicism. Okay?
Yes.
In America, we are ahead in gay rights than the Philippines are. And we know Pacquiao, he's a extremely religious person. He is also running for Senate, and I do not believe Manny Pacquiao meant to hurt anyone's feelings with this comment. I don't think he meant it was his intention to upset people. I think for him,
he may not have meant it. He may not have meant it.
This is his belief. This is his belief. It is so deeply ingrained into what he believes, and it's so strong in him. I mean, even when you go back, and he apologized for it, and you can go on Twitter. I mean, you can really go on anywhere. I mean, it's all over the place. Pacquiao apologized on his Twitter. He's going to put it on his Instagram and also his Twitter. And he said, I'm sorry for hurting people. Please forgive me for those who I were. It wasn't my intention to hurt you, but it's just my belief. I'm against same-sex marriage. I'm not condemning the LGBT. I love you all. And he doesn't want to hurt people, and that's where it can get really, really a lot of conflict just because of the situation. He doesn't want to hurt people, but because of what he believes, that it's just a fine line. It's a really difficult situation.
Well, here's the thing: is that he took accountability by apologizing. But how? I mean, is it half-hearted? Do you guys think? I mean, is it something that he truly, felt that he needed to do was to apologize because of his stance of his beliefs? I mean,
no, I liked his apology. I
think his apology was sincere. I believe it was sincere. I think he was sincere in not wanting to hurt people, because anyone who knows Pacquiao, I mean, you hear of him. He's a sweetheart. He's very sincere. You see, you know he loves his people. You know he does. I mean, he just spent millions and millions of dollars to give houses to thousands of his constituents. So you know he loves his people. This isn't a secret. So I don't think it was his intention to hurt people. I think he truly, truly, truly does love the people of the Philippines. It's just that conflict between him and his beliefs, and I can understand why the gay community was upset with this quote, with the wording. I can understand why they are upset, but I don't think it was his intention to upset them. It's just
so let's
Can I
go
give
down.
a different? Can I?
Go.
I'd like to give a different angle on this that we haven't talked about yet. I just want to say that I think Nike is being a tad hypocritical here. That's my first point. They've had a relationship with Pacquiao since 2006. They've known damn well Pacquiao is a religious, I think a fundamentalist Christian or evangelical Christian, you call it. And he's made comments like this before. And you know damn well they've sat in boardrooms together and he's made comments like this. And it seems like every year he's getting more and more outlandish with some of these comments. For Nike to stick with him for a decade and get the benefit of millions of Filipino kids here in America and over there spending hundreds of millions of dollars buying Nike shit, after the Mayweather fight, the big cash out, for them to dump him when he makes the comment now because TMZ found it and blew it up, now that he's on the cusp of his quote-unquote last fight, which we know it won't be, I just think that looks a tad hypocritical. One other quick thing I want to say. I do think people have some selective outrage. I think Manny's comments were deplorable. I absolutely am pro-gay marriage. But it wasn't that long ago where Floyd Mayweather went on a homophobic, racially insensitive rant about Manny Pacquiao on social media, and the media was basically silent on that. And a lot of the same people jumping on Manny right now were silent then. And look, this is boxing. If you want to go to a sport where people's feelings are taken into consideration, boxing ain't the place. We have plenty of examples in recent years of plenty of fighters of various ethnic, social backgrounds saying racially insensitive things, homophobic things, sexist things. So people are having selective outrage here. Although I do think the comments were stupid. Let me, one put that in the record.
Those are good points.
There's a lot of hypocrisy, I think, in this. I'm, for the record, raised Catholic, ex-Catholic.
My parents, by default, Roman Catholic.
Yeah, it's as Catholic as it gets, and so I'm not just, talking down about religion. For me, Manny speaking out about that, for me as an ex-Catholic, the church lost all moral high ground when they made a practice of hiding the child molesters in their midst. And systematically moving them from church to church to church and letting that scourge entrap, to take over children all over the world. That's been a practice in the church for a very long time. Nobody's really acknowledged it. Maybe the new pope has kind of given it some lip service, but these guys actually need to go to jail, and maybe people need to get some reparations. Like, that needs to happen before the church can condemn gay marriage or anything else, bad weather, as far as I'm concerned. But I think, to Antonia's point, and to Mike's point, in a sense, if you want to be offended by what a Catholic thinks about gay marriage, ask him about gay marriage. It's like, right? So, like, ultimately, it's kind of like Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. The question shouldn't even have been asked because it's none of our business, really. But he's running for public office, so people are going to ask all manner of things, and there you go. Nike is very hypocritical. They're a large corporation. We could go down the list of terrible things they do for the world, and the blind eyes that they turn. They don't really care about all the accusations about PEDs with Pacquiao, but he said something about the gay community. They see protests coming and a boycott. They're out. They don't want to pull a Chick-fil-A here. They're getting out while they can. And the only reason they care right now is because somebody at TMZ plucked this. This was an interview on a local news channel in the Philippines, in the middle of nowhere. We know Manny has probably said stuff like this 100 times. Mm-hmm. If Nike cared that much, they could have went and pulled a soundbite from any interview. But somebody at TMZ did that because that's how they make their living. They're tabloids. And now it's in the Twitter sphere, and Nike had to react. It's very hypocritical, in my opinion.
Okay, guys, let's go across the board really quick. I'm sorry. Let's just go across the board really quick, and let's ask Nike's stance of dropping Manny Pacquiao. Do you agree with it, or you don't agree with it? Really quick, Gabriel, what's your take? Yes or no?
I'll give it a thumbs up. It was a stupid thing to say, so you lost it. You deserved it.
Mike, what do you think?
I'll give it a thumbs up, but it could have been handled differently. I just think to completely dump a guy like that, I don't know. I think it's hypocritical, but I understand they're in a bind. I'll give it a thumbs up.
Antonia, what do you think?
I think that Nike has the option to choose who they want to represent their brand, who they want to represent their company, and if they don't feel that Manny Pacquiao upholds the same values that they do, and that's a legitimate reason for them to no longer endorse him, then I agree with it. It's their decision.
I'm still on the fence on it. I got to say, if right now what has this comment is basically has made Manny Pacquiao, the humble guy, into the bad guy. So much that even a scriber that writes a column for Top Rank kind of went in on Manny Pacquiao. Let me ask you about that. He almost seems like he's kind of left in the dark to handle this on his own. Top Rank kind of almost looks like they're just kind of stepping into the shadows and going like, okay, bro, you said it, you're going to deal with it now. Do you guys think that's the way it should be handled by Top Rank, but not interfering on any political views or religion views that Manny Pacquiao has? I mean, should the promoters stand next to him or not?
I'll start real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I think that this is kind of beyond boxing. I think that maybe Top Rank, this isn't a first-time deal. Like Michael said, this was something that happened back, 4 years ago? And this same kind of reaction happens. Pacquiao was banned from hotels. He had to go on national television with Mario Lopez and apologize for his comments. So this isn't new. So maybe and it blew over. It did blow over. So perhaps Top Rank feels that this will just blow over, give it some time, so they don't feel that it's appropriate for them, because like I said, it's not about boxing. It's kind of bigger than that and more sensitive than that. So maybe they don't feel like it's necessary for them to.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, what do you think?
I was just going to say, I understand Top Rank not wanting to get involved. They represent 1 million fighters, and if the people in the media heard what a lot of these guys say in the privacy of their own home, they'd probably be appalled, right?
Yeah.
Again, this is boxing. So they have to play it a certain way. Again, though, I'm going to use the hypocrite card, because it wasn't very long ago where they were using Manny to campaign for Harry Reid, I believe it was, in Nevada. They had him, Bob Arum was taking him around, using him to campaign with certain politicians. So if you're going to play politics then, when it benefits you, in the states where you do business, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, well then, you can't ignore politics here. So again, just a lot of hypocrisy, but I understand from a business sense why they have to wash their hands, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be anywhere near Manny right now, other than maybe to be encouraging him. You know, he's Catholic or he's born again Christian, depending on the reports. I think he's Catholic. I mean, as Antonio pointed out, the long history of Catholicism in the Philippines. You know, saying you're sorry and then doing some contrition is probably in order. He said he's sorry, but it shouldn't just end there. His understanding of that community should deepen. You know, I mean, I'm not saying he needs to become a crusader, but in order to get that goodwill back and really maybe understand a segment of people that he clearly doesn't, maybe he needs to take that step forward. Who knows? You know, maybe he can incorporate that into the promotion. Bring somebody out there, meet with some people. That's what politicians do. You know, you've seen, Black Lives Matter, kind of demanding and then ultimately meeting with both Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, and just laying out the agenda, kind of illuminating them. Manny needs to do that. I think everybody needs to do that. Just get over themselves.
Get over themselves. Yeah.
I know the Philippine news were reporting that after those comments were made, that Pacquiao had a kind of fellowship dinner with a large group of the LGBT.
Oh, nice.
I don't think.
There you go.
We don't know what Pacquiao's doing over there. We don't know his reaction as far as just past the apology, but it'll be interesting to see how this comes. I'm interested to see if this will have any effect on his training. I'm sure Timothy Bradley is jumping around and clapping his hands at maybe that's just potentially distracting him for his fight. I mean, it's pretty big to lose a huge endorser like that. I mean, I remember I pulled this up on my Twitter yesterday, and I read this quote the day before, and I didn't really think it was going to get that big. I was just like, oh, really? Whoa, okay, Pacquiao. And then the next day I pulled up my Twitter, and it was world trend, Pacquiao blown up on my Discover page. I was like, oh, gosh, what is this? And so it'll be interesting. I mean, do you think this could potentially distract him? I mean, he already started running for Senate.
He's already had so many distractions, and he's been phoning it in for the last 5 years anyway. So
he's had distractions from being a politician to injury to you name it. I mean, he's a professional. At the end of the day, we've kind of seen his professionalism. He's showed up. I don't think it's going to distract him. He's always been a guy that likes to live on that edge, and he needs that pressure. Really quick final thoughts about it.
It wouldn't be a Pacquiao camp if there wasn't chaos. But I do think the 9 months away and the focus so much on politics and everything. I mean, it's been there for a while, but I think there's something there. I mean, this is a very beatable version of Manny, I think. I don't see a guy coming in refreshed,
Absolutely. Okay, real quick final thoughts about the subject here. All I got to say about the Nike and Manny Pacquiao and the gay marriage comments is that I wouldn't want to be the PR for Manny Pacquiao right now. And if you're a good one, you're going to do some collateral damage here, which I haven't seen from their part doing. Okay, so anyways, at the moment right now, we're seeing with the PBC again, Al Heyman is back in the news. There's a discovery process underway in boxing. The lawsuits from Golden Boy, Top Rank, they start the interview process. But here's the interesting thing. And one of the interesting things is that it's a subject that's not even really being touched on, not even talked about as much, and that's going to have to be Antonio Tarver. If I remember back